Welcome back for the ESL India Premiership. It's Starter Cup number 4 now getting underway with Beyond Creation taking on Infamous in a best of 1 knockout. I'm CloudX, you're watching the tournament powered by Nodwin Gaming and sponsored by HyperX and ROG. On the rating side, we've got Team Infamous, a team that unfortunately I don't have too much information about, but a team that clearly loves their Slaughter and Silencer opening duo, as we do see them banning out the Tinker and the Spectre. On the Dire side, meanwhile, it's Team Beyond Creation, not to be confused with the winners of Challenger Cup number 1, Beyond Infinity. These guys choosing to pick up the Shadow Demon and the Phoenix as their opening duo. They've chosen to ban out the Void and the Invoker, then moving forward to ban out the Witch Doctor, while the Tide gets eliminated by Infamous. Now, I would have criticized these picks and bans just a couple of weeks ago, but TI6 has proven that literally anything can work. Just a couple of heroes not getting picked or banned in the tournament, Bloodseeker and Jakiro among those. It really feels like Ice Frog has managed to evolve Dota to its most mature form till date. It's really the mark of a good game is really when you can... When your game is basically witnessing play in almost every single element. You've got items that are being picked up regularly, you've got a variety of heroes that are getting picked up and banned out as well in the competitive scene, and it's not like there's any single hero that's considered as OP or overpowered inside Dota 2 anymore. Just almost every single patch leading up to this one has had one hero that was considered borderline broken and needed a nerf desperately. Heroes like the OD, heroes like, even the Death Ball meta with the Chen and Death Prophet at a certain point. You had the mid Rubik being a thing a couple of years ago even, but today I don't know if this is really just a factor of Ice Frog's balancing of the game, or if it's just teams getting a little more versatile and the entire skill cap rising in the professional Dota 2 scene, or rather the entire skill floor rising in the professional Dota 2 scene, which is why everyone's become versatile and has become proficient with multiple playstyles and heroes. Enough about that. You've got the Sven getting banned out on the Dire side, while Infamous are still thinking through what they should be banning as their next hero. And they do have 3 picks on the board for themselves, and they've already picked up an offlaner and a support on the side of the Radiant, while the Dire side, I would assume that this is an opening support duo with the Shadow Demon and the Phoenix. They could definitely pick up heroes like the Terrorblade, the Luna, even possibly the Draw Ranger. In fact, the Draw Ranger is in the pool and should not be ignored here. I feel like the Shadow Demon and the Draw Ranger is a really devastating duo if they can get their hands on it. But we'll see the Batrider getting banned out by Infamous. Let's see what they will go for, as third pick now lies in favor of the Dire side, aka Beyond Creation. Unfortunately, they haven't tagged up in the lobby, so the names will not be displayed here. Mirana, okay, there we go. More synergy with the Shadow Demon. So you've got the arrow that can now be coupled up on top of the disruption. Almost a guaranteed arrow if you time it well. And it's also, this is pretty much certain that this is going to be a mid or a 1 position Mirana. I doubt it's going to be on the support role, because that would mean we're going to have to see an offlane Phoenix, which has quite fallen off, I'm going to say. Anyway, Infamous is going to go with the third pick as their Ogre Magi. That's going to be their secondary support, their 4 position, I would assume. Ogre really seeing a resurgence of late. The entire group stages, in fact, Ogre was considered, well, it really looked like Ogre was going to be the meta during the group stages. Most teams picking up that Ogre as a response to the Earth Spirit of sorts. The Earth Spirit rolling boulders into a fat ass like Ogre. Not too much they can do to bring him down. He is one of those heroes with the highest base armor, especially as a support in the entire game, and he's got an absurd amount of HP regen as well, if I'm not mistaken. But as of now, with the Shadow Demon and the Soul Catcher, I don't think it's going to be too tall of an order to bring down that Ogre, if he does choose to get over aggressive. They've also got the Sun Ray, which is pretty much pure damage as a percentage of max HP. So I think dealing with the Ogre is not going to be too much of a problem for the Dire side. But they've got 10 seconds to go, and they'll pick up the Spirit Breaker. So they're going to take a page out of the MVP Phoenix playbook and play the run at you style of Dota. But this looks like it's going to be an offlane Spirit Breaker then. Unless they're still going to go back and run an offlane Phoenix, which I am not a fan of.
10 seconds remaining.
Fourth pick on the board here for Infamous. Let's see what they choose to go with. They'll pick up the Juggernaut. I can agree with this. I like the Juggernaut as the hero of choice here. They've got the healing ward. They've got more magic immunity in the face of that Mirana Shadow Demon duo. But at the same time, you know, Shadow Demon with a demonic purge to go straight through the Blade Fury. I think I don't. Well, at least I don't expect Beyond Creation to be too worried about this Juggernaut pick. Final pick on the board for Infamous. Since they've picked up their one position, they're going to ban out the Slark.
10 seconds.
Let's see what they choose to go for. They still need a middle lane hero. So does
Remaining.
Beyond Creation, assuming that's not a mid Mirana. And while the Puck has been banned out on the side of the Dire, they could be looking at a Queen of Pain pickup for themselves. Or possibly even a Storm Spirit. I mean, Puck is one of those heroes that can completely demolish the Storm Spirit at mid. Not too much the Storm Spirit can do to harass the Puck when he's got the phase shift at the ready to dodge those overload hits. But Infamous, let's see if they choose to go for a Storm Spirit of their own. They do have the initiation potential with the Slaughter already. But they do seem to be lacking tower takedown potential. In which case a Dragonite might not be a bad choice here. Timbersaw, he's in the pool as well if they want that extra bit of burst damage and middle lane control. With 15 seconds on the board, they're going to have to take a quick decision here for their final pickup. No disconnections, fortunately, so they are thinking this one through.
5 seconds.
They're really thinking this one through. They'll go with the Medusa. So that'll be a mid-Medusa, I'd assume. It could even be a mid-Juggernaut. But they've got plenty of late-game security now with the Medusa pickup. No real mana burn on the side of the Dire. I'm trying to think of any potential diffusal blade carriers. I mean, they could still go for the anti-mage as their final pick and run this as a mid Mirana. There's lots of synergy with the Shadow Demon and the anti-mage as well. You have those illusions to walk up onto the high ground and siege when you need to. And of course, the mana break versus Medusa's mana shield is possibly the best tool that could be at their disposal. But let's see what they choose to go for. 1 second, 0 seconds is is that a random Timbersaw? Well, one of them did disconnect. I'm not sure if that was their drafter. Was Ragnar their drafter? If he was, then they got a random Timbersaw. That's actually not too bad, because now they can run a mid Timbersaw and run a core Mirana. Mid Timbersaw versus Medusa. I mean, Timber's probably gonna run out of mana very often, but he should not be too bothered by the Medusa. Really, he's gonna have that absurd amount of HP regen and armor coming in from that reactive armor, so he should be able to hold his own in the lane. And of course, if he can walk up to the Medusa and get a couple of Timber Chains off, Whirling Deaths off, he should be able to out CS her as well. We'll have to wait and watch though how this laning phase pans out, as we're about to jump into the game. It's game 1 of a best of 1 knockout, of course, and one of these two teams
5
will
seconds remaining.
basically be eliminated from Starter Cup number 4. But either way, the loser of this match will be able to try again through Starter Cup number 5 and 6. If that's not enough, they'll even have an open qualifier that they could choose to participate in to secure their slot for Challenger Cup number 2. And immediately after the second Challenger Cup, we are going to have the Masters, aka the grand finale of the ESL India Premiership. That'll be taking place on LAN as well. And that's going to happen sometime in December. November is going to be the date for the Challenger Cup number 2. And of course, folks, if you did miss Challenger Cup number 1, you have to bring yourselves down to Challenger Cup number 2. It's really one of the most epic Indian esports events that you could ever attend in your lives, I'm going to say. It's really going to be... It's going to be huge, and if the Challenger Cup isn't huge enough, the Masters are going to be even more mind-blowing from what I've been told. Of course, I can't tell you any more than that, but you just have to be there. Unfortunately, we've got a couple of pauses coming out here. Hacks. Oh, looks like he did actually auto DC, so it was a random Timbersaw, and they're asking for a remake? Are we gonna actually remake this? I mean, ideally, I don't think the rules should allow that. Okay, they're fine with it. Who the hell says no to a last pick Timbersaw? I mean, you'd have to be You'd have to be completely foolish to say no to that, because this is one of those games where Timbersaw really is not going to be too contested by INF. I mean, they don't really have the Ancient Apparition, they don't have armor reduction, they don't have too much burst damage either. It's actually a dream game for Timbersaw. Why would you say no to it? Just go on with it. Alright, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna play Timbersaw as their last hero. Just gonna quickly adjust my audio levels here, folks. Looks like everything's a bit too soft for my liking. Maybe I should change it up. Okay. That's much better. Why do they still want to remake? I love the fact that the admin is actually giving them advice about where to send their Timbersaw, what lanes to put them in. But why? I really don't get it. Just run an off-lane Timbersaw if you have to. Or run a mid Timbersaw, run a carry Mirana, and then run this as an off-lane... That's exactly what they're doing. They're running this as an off-lane Spirit Breaker. And a mid Timbersaw. He's even started with the Poor Man Shield, which means that Medusa's auto attacks are going to do diddly squat to him. This is a good draft for Beyond Creation. I don't think they should be so disheartened by this last pick Timber. Maybe they're just playing mind games. Alright, enough clowniness. Let's start off with the introductions here for both sides. On the Radiant, you've got Infamous, Immortal, Ragon. On the Slaughter, you've got Juggernaut, handled by Hello. Ogre Magi going to be played by DOT. You've got Awesome Dude on the Medusa, which leaves us with Silencer, handled by Rampager. On the other side of the Dota River, you've got Naro KY for Beyond Creation on the Phoenix. Shadow Demon going to be handled by Ragnar. Barathroom aka Spirit Breaker played by Hybrid. Mirana handled by Max, leaving us with the last random pick, Timbersaw for Kiko. Or is he Kick? I'm going to call him Kiko because Kiko sounds cooler. So he started with the reactive armor, and he seems to know what he's doing. He's willing to walk up to the Medusa and tank up a few hits. Would have liked to see him start with the Whirling Death actually, to start stealing the stats from Medusa and completely outlane her. But oh, there it is, the Mystic Snake, doing some decent amount of damage on the Timber. Bottom lane is going to be a straight up 2 versus 2. They've run this as a dual lane with the Phoenix and the Spirit Breaker. Good luck killing that lane, Infamous. That is going to be a very tall order for them. Phoenix with Icarus Dive to get away from the Juggernaut and his Blade Fury. And of course, Spirit Breaker, who is a tanky son of a gun. Kiko had made 4-0 on the CS. He's pretty much outshining this Medusa as expected. While at top, it's an off-lane Slaughter. However, Ragnar made a bit of a mistake here. He only single pulled this creep wave, which means that the creep equilibrium should ideally start to set back in favor of Immortal Aragon on this top lane. Bottom lane, Curse of the Silent along with the Ignite. Sorry, Arcane Curse, that's what it's called now. Just Dota 2 things. And Ignite, of course. Both sources of significant damage over time. That's gonna force the Phoenix and the Spirit Breaker to burn through their consumables fairly quickly. What's fortunate though is that they don't really have too many spammable spells, so stacking up that Arcane Curse will not be too much of an option here for the Silencer. Well, Naro chooses to rotate. He actually opted to start with the Icarus Dive at level 1. I really don't know why Phoenix players do this. I'd have assumed that the Sunray is their most potent skill right from the get-go. I guess it's just a defensive layer that he's picked up, but you only skill up Icarus Dive when you actually need it. Ideally, you'd want to hold on to the skill point until you actually get initiated upon. Top lane Mirana starting off with the Ring of Protection, so she's opting to go for the early Basilius, but the clear winner in all of this has been the Juggernaut. He's got himself 15 CS, near perfect CS at the start of this game. And this is despite going up against 2 heroes in the bottom lane. But Phoenix, realizing that he can't do too much, has chosen to move himself up top instead. While Ragnar hasn't managed to stack up any camps either.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
How's mid looking? Medusa starting to pull ahead, or pull back in terms of CS. About 8 CS in the bank for her. Kiko sitting with a decent 9 and 2 for himself. Just going blow for blow, but Juggernaut just continues to rack up the money here. Hybrid's managed to get himself that pull to the side, which should allow him to set the creep equilibrium closer to his tower for now. He's also getting some money from these neutrals, so this is going pretty well for the Spirit Breaker. As an offlaner, he is up to level 4 while Slaughter's getting there himself. Surprisingly enough, the Slaughter chose not to go for the Iron Talon. He's picked up the Magic Stick, assuming that Ragnar's going to be putting early points into the Shadow Poison. But little does he know that Ragnar's gone for the Soul Catcher. Uh-oh, this could be troublesome. Here we go, they've got the disruption. The Soul Catcher not going to connect. It goes on the Siege Creep instead. There's no line for the arrow there for Max. He would have got that Siege Creep with the arrow if he tried. But if it wasn't for that Siege Creep, I'm pretty certain the Slaughter was a dead one. This is an unconventional build, by the way, from Mirana. She's actually opted to put a second early point into the Sacred Arrow, not going for the leap. Ideally, you'd want to put 2 points into the Starstorm, 1 into the arrow, and 1 into the leap, because the incremental gains, well, I guess it's pretty significant, right? You've got more than double, close to triple the damage for putting that second point into the arrow. So I guess Max knows what he's doing. Timbersaw. He's picked up the bottle for himself. Medusa. Looks like she's opted not to go for the bottle this game. This could get troublesome for her. She does have a salve called out to her though. But Kiko's gonna have no mana troubles whatsoever anymore. Every time the Medusa drops a Mystic Snake on him, all he's gotta do is bottle up, push out the wave, and get the next rune as well. But here we go, Ragnar. He's rotating in towards mid. That Timbersaw is yet to hit level 6. Once he gets that Chakram, I think it might be a fairly easy kill on the Dusa, but not if the Dusa keeps this up. She's taken away most of Kiko's mana now, and he's a little low on HP as well. He's only got 1 point in the reactive armor. This is not the way he wants to lane versus Dusa, but here we go. Ragnar gonna get the Soul Catcher off this time. No, again it goes on the creep. And it looks like Medusa hit level 6 first, so she gets the Stone Gaze to zone them out. And okay, never mind. The Mystic Snake doesn't bounce onto Ragnar. If it did, that would have been a truck ton of damage and mana stolen away. It is, after all, level 3 Mystic Snake. 5 minutes in, we get to see first blood. Infamous dodging bullets at the middle lane, while Ragnar will now claim this EXP as the Timber makes his way back to the fountain. Medusa has definitely pulled ahead now in terms of CS. She's at 19 CS, up against the 12 on the Timbersaw, but Juggernaut, man, he is just getting huge at this point. 39 CS. Compare that to the one position on the side of the Dire. Mirana's only got 16 CS, and this is despite being up against a solo Slaughter in the offlane. I'm really not sure what this Mirana's been up to, whether she's just been missing last hits, or if the Slaughter's actually doing a good job of contesting and resetting the creep equilibrium. Hybrid though, he's doing okay. He's in level 6 himself. Doesn't have a single point in the Empowering Haste though. He's put 2 points into the Greater Bash. Might want to consider putting at least a single point in there now. Okay then, we got a disconnection coming out from Timbersaw. Hopefully he's gonna come back into this game real quick. Let's have a quick look at the graphs for now. INF just pulling ahead purely on the back of more efficient farm. The EXP graph tilted slightly in favor of the Dire, but it's almost negligible. Okay, looks like we've got an update that the man is online, so we shouldn't have too long of a wait, hopefully. And he's back. That was quick. Okay, that was bad. I'm sorry, guys. I had to alt tab there for a moment to just check if everything was okay on the stream, man. I missed first blood. My mistake. But maybe we're gonna get this kill in the middle lane anyway, because Kiko, he's getting initiated upon. They've got the last word coming out as well. Kiko gonna Timber Chain downtown. And he's even got a Fairy Fire, so he's gonna be okay. Arcane Curse not gonna do enough damage to bring down this Timber. Just 1 point on the reactive armor seems to be enough to get him away. Long range Timber Chain, of course, helping as well. But here we go. They're going in under the Dusa. She does have the Stone Gaze, and Ragnar cannot continue this chase. Stone Gaze gonna force him to back away, but DOT's here once again. He has the Fire Blast available. Gets clipped with the arrow. The double Star Storm is there along with the bash. Will get the kill. Now they'll charge forward. They're gonna get the Dusa as well as Max jumps in to finish that one up. Timbersaw is back for round 2, and with the Chakram, they managed to get a kill on the Silencer as well. And what should have been a 1-for-0 trade in favor of INF ends up being a 3-for-0 in favor of the Dire. Beyond Creation, striking back hard, striking back fast. They get 2 kills on the supports and 1 on the core, and they're gonna be feeling comfortable. Now transitioning back into their lanes. Well, at the very least, the Slaughter did manage to get himself a solo kill up top on the core Mirana. So if things weren't bad already for this Mirana, it just got worse. That should accelerate the timing on the Slaughter's Blink Dagger, but he's chosen not to go for the Iron Talon, which means he has to stick around in this lane. He can't move into the jungle to get his farm rolling. But he is up to level 6, so maybe that's going to be a factor. He could be a part of these ganks with that amp damage coming online. Oh, Kiko doing his thing. There's no trees here to timber chain to. But that's an Invis Ogre coming in. Unfortunately for him, there's a dire sentry ward placed down right dab smack in the middle of the lane, which will allow Kiko to move up top and claim the bounty rune for himself. Small stack here for the Juggernaut. He's going to clean that up with the Blade Fury. Inefficient use of it there. He's at, what is this build? He's chosen to max out Blade Dance while top. Max again getting initiated upon. He's got a Fairy Fire, leaps away, will not get out to safety as the Phoenix can't help him there. That's another kill for the Slaughter. And it's on the core Mirana. There's just not enough support coming the way of this Mirana. And Mirana's really playing way too aggressively for her own good as well. But yeah, back to this Juggernaut. Why has he maxed out the Blade Dance of all things? I mean, sure, the crit chance increases, but 200% of 66 damage is not more than the maxed out Blade Fury at this point in the game. Charge from Hybrid. He's heading towards mid, chooses to cancel it midway. There is a Radiant Observer ward watching out these shenanigans. This Moonlight Shadow's gonna get scouted as well. Now they're pinging him out. Hybrid, he does have the Nether Strike available. He's walking into Rampager. There's the Shadow Demon starting things off. They missed on the arrow, and Hello will casually Blade Fury away, but not too far. He gets clipped with the Nether Strike. They need that 17% bash to kick in, but they're not gonna get it. As Hello will walk away. That was a very poorly executed gank. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Could have gone a lot better. Could have timed that arrow better and stunned the Juggernaut in his tracks. That should have been a confirmed kill. Anyway, 3 for 2 for now. Just 10 minutes in. Timbersaw. He's up to 24 CS and he's third on net worth chance. Medusa's falling slightly behind. She's got just 1 point in the mana shield. This makes her fairly squishy. On that bottom. Arrow. Oh, just barely missing. Good try there from Max, but they're going to charge in. There's no Blade Fury this time. They don't have the Nether Strike either. They've got the Demonic Purge. No, they don't. Just the Soul Catcher's there. Hello. He's going to slice down the Spirit Breaker before losing his own life. So it ends up being a 1 for 1, but it's still a trade that I think the Dire will be okay with, but not this one. Medusa manages to find the kill at mid on the Timber. Timber diving in deep to score a kill, but it looks like he got stoned by the Stone Gaze, and with the Ogre coming through as well, they did manage to turn that one around on its head. Meanwhile, Slaughter, despite having 2 kills to his name, he's got just 14 CS. The lack of an Iron Talon. He's not abusing the meta. He's not moving into the jungle. And that's going to delay his Blink Dagger. But he's getting decent EXP here. He is now up to level 8, but so is the Spirit Breaker. Here we go. Spirit Breaker hoping to score a kill on the Slaughter this time. If they can get this kill, that should delay his Blink Dagger significantly. Now he's gonna see the Spirit Breaker charging through on the back of this ward. But can he do anything about it? No, he can't. He doesn't get the crush off in time, and that means he's going to get stunned here for the most part. They've got the arrow. They've fired as well. It will connect, and with the Starstorm, it's still going to be the Phoenix that gets the kill. They've rotated 4 heroes for that kill, but it's well worth it. Stopping the Slaughter snowball in its tracks. And delaying his Blink Dagger a little bit. No tower is going to be taken down, though. They just don't have the firepower to bring it down yet. Well, that made Timbersaw. Can he do anything about this Medusa? Medusa just... She's having a hard time walking up to the lane and farming for fear of those whirling deaths stacking up on him.
The prize is mine.
Meanwhile, Juggernaut, he is choosing to go for the Battle Fury here. But considering the awesome start he's had, he's now started to fall behind. But mid, there's no mana shield active. No. Okay, she turns it on just in the nick of time. But they've got that damage. The pure damage coming through. She gets the worm charges, and that'll allow her to drop the Stone Gaze. Another bullet has been dodged, but at top, not going to be the same fate for the Slaughter. He goes down. to the Shadow Demon, and they're gonna get more. Another charge is coming through from the Spirit Breaker. He's on his way from the river. Ragnar will lose his life to the Ogre, but the Ogre will fall to Mirana. Max gets himself a kill. His second of the game and his 5th assist, really. These small trades are starting to stack up in favor of Beyond Creation, and every death on the Slaughter is squandering the lead that he had built up with those 2 early kills. His Blink Dagger, well off the mark now. This is about the time that he should have gotten it as a standard offlaner. In fact, no, he's opted to pick up the Staff of Wizardry, which means he's going for the 4-star this game instead. Now Stone Gaze is not available for another 40 seconds, but Kiko's a little low on mana. He did have the Arcane Boots, but he really can't burn through those 2 points of the mana shield just yet. He's trying though. Another Timber Chain. The Chakram's going to be completely off the mark, and now he's going to get sandwiched in here. Maybe not. He Timber Chains further away, close to the tier 1 tower, but the Crush and the Amp damage, along with the Deducer coming in, will get the kill on the back of that Mystic Snake. Awesome, dude. Gets happy with that one. He's now second on the board as far as net worth is concerned, and all the while Juggernaut continues to do his thing. His Battle Fury slowly but surely coming online. Ragnar with a casual disruption here to spawn a couple of illusions to lay into the Juggernaut. He hasn't opted to max out the disruption though, so his illusions don't do enough damage. In fact, he is maxing out the Shadow Poison, the zoning Shadow Demon build. This is one of those games where I feel like Max Disruption might have been more useful for him. Top lane, Max. Once again getting run down by the Slaughter. He'll force out the leap. He's gonna try for an arrow, and oh, it's just barely gonna whiz past his ear. But do they have enough to bring him down though? Pull back your Chakram, man. It's just burning your mana for no good. And get a little bit of damage done. Global Silence. Wow, okay, they baited that one at least. Kiko, is he gonna die here? He's trying to make it out. He's got a Timber Chain, gets a little further away, but Slaughter spins coming online in 1 second's time, and the amp damage is already there. The reactive armor ticking up. Nice Timber Chain, dodges the crush. Now he comes back for round 2. He's got a Whirling Death. The pure damage is there along with the trees next to him. Kiko though, with the arcane curse ever upon him, is starting to lose HP, and Immortal Aragon will TP out from the tree lines. It ends up being a 2-for-1 actually. Medusa goes down at the middle lane to... Who the hell killed the Medusa? Okay, looks like the Spirit Breaker managed to do that by himself. Not sure how that happens. More fights breaking out the top lane. Timber gets run down behind the tower as DOT just walks past and gets him. But Rampager's about to lose life to Hybrid. He's got the urn on him. Needs one more hit. Can he get in range? Yep, he will. The Lantern smacks him and gets the kill. DOT, that pure damage from the Stun Ray, doing absurd amounts of work. And with the arrow and the Starstorm, they'll get the kill on him. Icarus Dive will secure the retreat for this Phoenix. Well, Medusa's rotation is for naught. Another 2 heroes losing their life on this top lane, as we have yet another disconnection, courtesy the Shadow Demon. Well, this means... okay, quick reconnect from him. So I was about to move into some sponsor videos and whatnot, but thankfully he's back. We should have the game getting underway once again. Well, once again, for those of you just tuning in, you're watching the ESL India Premiership organized by Nordwind Gaming, sponsored by HyperX and ROG. I'm CloudX, your caster for this evening, and you're watching Infamous going up against Beyond Creation. Beyond Creation on the Dire, Infamous on the Radiant. It is a best of 1 knockout match, which means that one of these 2 teams will be eliminated from the bracket. And for now, it looks like Infamous have the lead. Instant leap away from Max. Not gonna wait to find out what happens next. The 4-star almost finished up here on the Slaughter. Well, at bottom, Juggernaut getting run down by the Timber, but he's gonna force out a couple of TPs. Oh, good Fire Blast. Stops the Timbersaw in his tracks. The arrow! Oh, it's actually connected from downtown, and Mirana gets the kill on the Jug. Kiko, he will end up losing his life, but it's not for nothing, really. Shadow Demon, what are you doing? Okay, then. That has to be lag. Oh, is this next level bait? Max, what are you doing? Yeah, this has to be lag. Guys? Not like this. This is ridiculous. Puppy paws in the house. But it looks like they are going to turn it around now. Ogre does get the kill on the Shadow Demon. Slaughter makes a run for it. The arrow flies. They get the kill. It's a double kill for the Ogre. He's brought down both the Mirana and the Shadow Demon, but he will lose his life to the Spirit Breaker at the end of it all. It's a killing spree taken away by him. while Rampager makes a run for it from behind. He used that global silence with the arcane rune online, so it's got a shorter cooldown. But it ends up being a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Infamous. And all the while, you've got Medusa just farming up the middle lane. While the Juggernaut, he has picked up his Battle Fury. And is now going to be a lean farming machine.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied.
Spirit Breaker. He's choosing to go for the Shadow Blade himself. I can't say I agree with that item choice this game. Might have been a better idea to tank up and maybe even get that early BKB, considering the absurd amount of control and spell damage on the side of INF. Arrow. Good dodge there from Blade Fury. It does feel like the longer this game goes, the better it gets for INF, and they've also managed to get themselves that early game lead so far. They're about to take a tier 1 tower at mid. This should open up more space to move into the enemy jungle. But it seems like they want to contest here. Shadow Demon and Phoenix are coming through. The tower does go down, but they can't come in to do anything on the back of it. No return kills going to be found. No fair trades here for Beyond Creation. Timbersaw. He's still struggling to get a Bloodstone online. Has only the Soul Ring along with the Arcane Boots so far. Up top, Mirana choosing not to go for the Aghanims. Maybe she is still going to go for the Aghanims, but considering she's picked up the drums, I'm assuming it's going to be the Diffusal Blade. Or maybe even just a Yasha for the extra bit of mobility. I'd like to see a Diffusal Blade though, versus the Medusa especially. Just that extra bit of mana break, or feedback as it's called, will definitely help. But they want this tower now. We're seeing the Spirit Breaker walking around under cover of invisibility as Mirana cleans up on the tier 1 tower behind it. Is going to be the Yasha. So mobility will be the name of the game here for INF. They want more. They smell blood in the water and they're going to go for this Ogre. This should be a very easy kill. The arrow will fly. Again he's on off point here, which means that the Spirit Breaker will have to commit with the charge. The Sun Ray is there as well. DOT. He will die, but here come the TPs, the crush from the Slaughter. Looks like one TP was cancelled. And with the global silence now expended, they will at least get the return kill on the Phoenix. I'm not sure it's worth it though for INF, using a global silence just for a kill on the Phoenix. Ragnar, he's been spotted out here. Juggernaut's coming through. The arrow flies, doesn't connect, whizzes past everyone, but the Juggernaut Omni Slash damage has been split, and the Stone Gaze connects on no one, which means that Ragnar can make his escape from the east side, while the rest of the team heads up north. Force Staff is on cooldown. Timbersaw looking for more kills. He's got the Chakram on the floor with the charge stun there with the disruption as well. They might just get this kill. The Shadow Poison's there. It's just one stack though. With the Urn it will get the kill. And Spirit Breaker will claim it for himself. 2 for 1 there. No one else dying apart from the Phoenix on the side of Beyond Creation. Another favorable trade in their way. And this even forces out a 5-man rotation from INF. Not what they should be doing at this point. They should not be looking to fight actually. They should just be split pushing and farming on the Juggernaut and the Medusa. The whole point of getting a Battle Fury is to farm up harder and faster than your opponents. No real sense in him coming to these fights unless absolutely needed. But for now the aggression will continue. Phoenix gonna walk straight into the Silencer. The silence will clip, but they've gone for the Juggernaut with the arrow and the Starstorm. They've just brought him down. It was the Ancients that got the kill, but Rampager might not be so fortunate. They've got the charge to provide vision. Kiko still running forward with the Chakram will get the kill, and the reactive armor stacks now allowing him to regen up a bit. Defensive disruptions there, but the offensive Supernova is there. The defensive Supernova is there as well. He will be able to zone out the fight. The stun comes out on the Slaughter, and a second stun with the Nether Strike will secure the kill. Ragnar will fall. It's just the Shadow Demon down, but 4 down on the side of INF. It's gonna be a full team wipe as DOT is now being run down. Kiko still giving chase. The Chakram will not connect. Timbersaw will lose his life to the Ogre Magi's damage over time, as it ends up being a 4 for 2 trade. Again, one that favors Beyond Creation on the dire side. That early kill on the Juggernaut really allowed them to continue forward without worrying about any return damage coming out their way. The fact that the Juggernaut doesn't have a single point in the healing ward either is really not helping. This is some very questionable decision making from INF.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Phoenix did pick up the Midas, so levels will not be too much of a problem for him. Going forward, he is up to level 9. Once he has that level 2 Supernova, team fights will get significantly easier for them. Well, INF. And they're banking on this Medusa to get big. She's got herself the Lincoln Sphere almost finished up now, I believe. It is flying out on the courier, but someone wants the courier more badly. It's going to be the Silencer, who's sending it back to pick up a pair of wards. Slaughter farming up a bit. And the choice to not go for that Blink Dagger is, I mean, this is just some very facepalm level decision making happening here. Hybrid. Oh no, he's just backing away. He saw the movement coming out on the back of this observer ward. They won't try without using the Moonlight Shadow, and now they're gonna go in, but Max has no mana to work with. He's got a couple of bottle charges being sent his way, but that reveals Timbersaw's position. But here we go, Hybrid coming in. The Global Silence preemptively dropped down, and with the Stone Gaze as well, they're gonna get at least one kill on the Phoenix. So no Supernova for this one. Hybrid gonna get stunned up. The Blade Fury damage is there, but the arrow flies. It gets missed. It gets negated rather with the Blade Fury, but Hybrid high fives everyone on his way out. The Ogre Magi damage over time though will secure the kill in 17 for 17, and this time INF gets a decent trade, but it's still a Global Silence and a Stone Gaze blown just to get the kills on 2 supports. Oh well, I wouldn't say Spirit Breaker's a support. He's actually a core at this point, so I guess it's sort of worth it. Oh no, not like this. They're gonna get a freebie here. And Soul Catcher damage, allowing Max to get that last hit in. I'm not too sure what the hell Slaughter was doing all the way out there.
Radiant's top tower is under
Perhaps he thought he could get a solo kill on the Shadow Demon, but it was not meant to be. Kiko has himself the Bloodstone finished up. The recipe now sitting in his stash. Well, Ragnar, he's got himself the Staff of Wizardry now, so Shadow Demon's going to be looking for the Yule Scepter himself. Great item pickup versus both the Medusa and the Silencer. If you want to use it defensively, allows you to negate the silence from the Global Silence there. While using it offensively on the Medusa will trigger the Lincoln Sphere. We finally got the Bloodstone complete for Kiko. 12 brand spanking new charges for the man. Let's see if he can take that count higher or if he's going to end up squandering some of them. As you got to remember, that's a random Timbersaw. They didn't intend to pick it up, but they got it as their last pick anyway.
tower is under attack.
Double Manta style finished up though. One on the side of the Radiant with the Juggernaut picking up his, and on the side of the die you've got the Manta finished up for Mirana. So while I did criticize the item build, the Manta style is pretty good versus both the Slaughter and the Silencer. Now let's see if the damage output is enough. Because, I mean, when you have that Starstorm buffed up with the Aghanim Scepter, there is nothing like it for magic damage. For free magic damage, really, because it doesn't even cost you any mana. Okay, we've got to pause because somebody got a phone call. Professional Dota 2 at its finest.
Invisibility.
Okay, got a quick resume coming out as well. Neither side really willing to move outside and make any plays happen.
Radiant's bottom tower
Rampager with the Invis rune as well, just walking around close to his Ancients. But it does seem like the Dire side are farming more efficiently. Now they've backed INF into a corner. None of the INF heroes are really farming apart from this Juggernaut in the jungle. Medusa is showing herself at mid now, which makes her slightly vulnerable. And see if a charge comes through, but the charge is going bottom. They're going for the Slaughter first. The arrow this time connects. They could commit to this. Ragnar comes in with the demonic purge, and with the Sunray behind as well, they'll bring him down. Silence comes through. Hello, gonna pop the Mantis Child. Goes to work, but he's slicing and dicing illusions for the most part. Then he jumps over to Hybrid, who can now make an escape. The illusion blocks him out as well, while Max is looking for the kill on Hello. Hello's got nowhere to go now. He's gonna try and TP, but it's a tad too late, as Max will fire an arrow from point blank range and secure the kill. It's a double kill for the Mirana. A global silence was blown as well, and this is looking just fine now for the Dire side. Beyond Creation looking to take a tier 2, but of course, no freebies, right? They have to feed in another lane. Kiko at the very least will commit suicide, but he loses out on 4 Bloodstone charges there. Will it be more though? Because Phoenix is trying to deward the sentry there. He will get the deward off. He has no Icarus dive. He's gonna pop the Supernova here if he wants to survive that. The defensive disruption will keep him alive for now. Supernova's available, will be popped. Stone Gaze is there as well, but DOT, he's trying to run. Is not gonna get far enough away as the Demonic Purge will finish the job. Awesome dude. Trying to run from Max now. Max gets a little more mana from the Arcane boost from his allies. Arrow will fly and oh, he's just gonna whiz past the Medusa. Fly straight under her arm as she'll get back to the safety of her tier 3 tower. More kills in favor of the Dire. INF are starting to fall further and further behind now. Now I'm wondering if Max goes back for the Aghanim Scepter here, or if he just commits to going full DPS. Possibly a Maelstrom, or the Diffusal Blade isn't too far fetched a choice either. He's got 2,100 gold in the bank on Hybrid. He's chosen to finish up the Silver Edge. I mean, yeah, it gives him a little bit more of stats and whatnot, and also the damage reduction from the break is pretty legit. But no real passives to disable here. I mean, I guess Blade Dance counts. Kiko choosing to go for the Yules of his own. Shadow Demon did not finish up his Yules yet. He chose to go for the Force Staff instead, so it's just a casual Windlace. So they're looking to kite around the Medusa charge. Cut short there by Hybrid. That would have been suicidal if he went there by himself. Uh-oh, Timber's got no TP. Slaughter's gonna wrap around on him. This should be a kill. I don't see how he's gonna get out of this. He's actually looking to fight back. Wow, that was a significant amount of damage done. He didn't even crush him. What was he thinking? He just panicked when the Timber Cell threw his spells at him, and he just decided to turn and run. What? Why? They've got a warrior. They should know that there's no one, unless they've come in the cover of a smoke. Mind games from Kiko. Faking it out, pretending like he has his allies at his back, but who they've now actually walked all the way under cover of a smoke. If INF takes a fight now, it might be very disastrous for them. It is a level 2 Supernova even. Well, Mirana did choose to go for the Diffusal Blade, so they've got another tool needed to bring down that mana shield. But Medusa is getting pretty fat. She's got an ultimate orb in addition to the Lincoln Sphere. And Kiko and company now gonna run into the Medusa. She's got a Bloodlust on her. Immediately starts the Stone Gaze, and they'll try and run from this. Global Silence not dropped just yet. Now it gets dropped, but Phoenix, he can't stop the Icarus dive. Will come all the way around, doing a loop-de-loop. Is he gonna die here? Oh, he just barely gets the Supernova off before the Mystic Snake clips him. This is pretty decent for INF, but it's not looking good actually now, as Kiko gets a double kill, bringing down the Silencer and the Slaughter. The disruption is there. He goes forward onto DOT. DOT walks the other way, but Medusa has a lot of HP to work with, and the Juggernaut is still on the playing field. He doesn't have the Omni Slash, but they've gone for the Ogre. That is one tanky son of a gun who will not die. It ends up being a 3-for-2 trade in favor of Infamous, as Mirana is forced to tuck her tail between her hiney and make a run for it. As, oh, just barely, Shadow Demon gets out there. But that's a full Aghanim Scepter finished up on the Ogre, by the way. Which means that his potency on the battlefield can no longer be ignored. This is ridiculous. He's got himself that extra stun now, along with the multicast multiplier. It's getting to the point where They're gonna need BKBs and pipes and hoods and whatnot on the side of I was gonna call them INF, on the side of Beyond Creation. But the Juggernaut is still getting huge. He has picked up his next item, which I would assume is a blink, but no, he's gone for the diffuser blade, so more damage coming out from him. He's got 400 gold now in the bank though. Timbersaw. 1100 gold in the bank account for him. He's down to 6 charges on the Bloodstone. The Yules is his only layer of defense up against the Global Silence and the Omni Slash. So we're looking at a Scotty coming out for the Medusa. I'm hoping it's not a Lincoln Sphere. I mean, it's not a Mantis style. Okay, it is going to be the Scotty. $2,600 gold in the bank now for the Phoenix. Naro with that Shiva's Guard en route. He's gonna get he's already quite a threat in these fights, but I'm not sure the Shiva's Guard is really the best way to go. This is a hero that really needs to break out of the silence and pop the supernova while INF is mounting aggression. So he should have probably gone for the Yules himself. We've got a Blade Mail now coming online for this Slaughter. Again, very questionable item choices from them. Why would you get a Blade Mail? You still need the extra mobility that a Blink Dagger would offer you, because he's the only source of initiation for INF. And right now, he's just unable to do a good job. Getting 2-man, 3-man crushes is almost impossible when you come in with 4 staff range. They've scouted out Kiko. Is he... Yeah, he's not committing. He just decides to back away. So INF are... I mean, this is the kind of Dota that is not the stuff of champions, I'm gonna say. This is where INF should rewatch their video, their replay. In fact, so should Breaking... Why am I was about to call them Breaking Creation. Beyond Creation. These guys should go back and watch their game and see how inefficiently they're farming on this map. There's a bottom lane that's just pushing all the way in, courtesy Kiko. There's an observer ward inside the jungle as well. Roshan has not been touched for the first 34 minutes of this game, despite tier 1s and tier 2s going down. And the smoke rotations have been pretty much useless for the most part. INF are just trying to wait for their opponents to come knocking on their door, but now they're gonna go forward again. That 4-star, the range is just not nearly enough. Disruption cancels out the initiation from the Slaughter. Top lane, Mirana continues to do her thing, not bothered by what's going on in the bottom. And of course, with triple TPs coming out here, I'm not sure what they plan to accomplish. Now, Medusa and Juggernaut are all going to be fighting for farm in this top lane, when the jungle is pretty much up for grabs. And it's going to be an Ogre who's already got himself an Ags and a Yules farming that instead. Farm priority, guys. First you put your farm on the Medusa, then you prioritize on the Juggernaut, and then on the Slaughter. But for now, this is ridiculous, because the Ogre actually has about 3,000 more net worth than the core Slaughter. Well, at least the dire side knows what they're doing. They saw 3 TPs coming out top, and instead of trying to contest them and do any other shenanigans, they'll just claim themselves an Aegis. It'll be the Shadow Demon that holds on to the Aegis. Please tell me that's not true. Alright, it'll be the Spirit Breaker. Ideally, it should have been the Timbersaw holding on to it for that extra life, but I guess it works with the Spirit Breaker as well. This gives him a license to YOLO initiate now. He's almost got his BKB online too. But with the Aegis, they're feeling confident enough to try and push. DOT could be caught with his pants down here. Arrow will fly, but that's all it's gonna do. Just fly straight past. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, Kiko been silenced up. He's got the Yules member, so he can send. No, he doesn't have the Yules. What am I saying? Silencer's already down. Mana Break doing some damage onto the Medusa, but Hybrid gonna lose life number 1. But the Omni Slash was committed for that one. Supernova is there. It's not gonna stun anyone, but it doesn't matter. It's a double kill for Max. He gets himself wicked sick. The disruption is there onto the Medusa as well. She's losing mana and she's losing it fast. She's got the Stone Gaze now. It will stone up the Hybrid Spirit Breaker, but the Moonlight Shadow is there, sending them in base. 2 down on the side of INF, 1 down on the side of Beyond Creation, and DOT will be the 3rd as he's about to lose his life. There we go, Icarus dive forward, DOT goes down, but he turns and gets the kill on the Shadow Demon in exchange, while Hybrid manages to run forward. The lightning proc from the Mirana gets the kill. It's a triple kill for Mirana as she even brings down the Juggernaut. That's a 5-man wipe, 2 on the sidelines for the Dire, and it should transition into at least a tier 2 tower takedown in favor of Beyond Creation.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's structures are fortified.
Silencer doing what he can, but his best is not enough to stop this tier 2 tower push.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
That'll be a Lotus Orb now finished up on Kiko,
Is under attack.
which means he needs to be careful about the way he uses his Omni Slash, or even the Ogre Magi for that matter, how he uses his Fire Blast. But they want more. With the Medusa and the Juggernaut down for 20 seconds, and with no blink initiations from the Slaughter, they can comfortably take this tier 2 tower. They get 2 tier 2 towers on the back of a 5-man wipe,
Has fallen.
and they can comfortably back away with a lot of money in their pockets. Max is an absolute beast now with the Mjolnir finished up. Well, Spirit Breaker, he should have the BKB. He can buy it. He's actually committing in deep onto Rampage. Oh wow, that hurt. But Hybrid gets stunned up once, gets stunned up a second time, and with a crush, that'll be a 3rd to secure his death. Yules to set up onto the Phoenix, but Phoenix manages to Icarus dive away. Ragnar 4 staffs out as well. Uh-oh. No Blade Mail activated there. Lots of damage copped by the Slaughter. They're fighting. They don't want to give this one up. There is a Supernova available. Is he going to use it? Naru tried to walk in for it, but he didn't get it off in time. He got stoned and Omni Slash to his death. But Kiko gets a double, bringing down the Ogre and the Slaughter. He's looking for more with the Moonlight Shadow and the Chakram thrown down. The Juggernaut's taking a lot of damage now. Will he be brought down? You've got Mirana thinking of leaping forward. The arrow not timed well enough as the disruption setup is there. Will they change targets instead? Hello is going to say goodbye as the Chakram will get the kill. Even the global silence gets dropped needlessly now as Medusa sent up into the air, loses some stats, takes some damage, but it doesn't look like they're going to get anything else off of this. The Juggernaut can buy back, but chooses not to just yet. That tier 3 is taking damage, and it doesn't look like INF is willing to defend. The tier 3 is down. The range Raxes are going to follow suit. And with the Shadow Demon able to make disruption illusions off the Mirana, they should be brought down even quicker. They're going for the melee. No buyback from the Juggernaut still. That's 1 lane of Mega Creeps now in favor of Beyond Creation.
Middle barracks has fallen.
And they're picking out the second lane as well. INF, I'm not really sure why they didn't buy back on the Juggernaut to defend that. Considering that the entire squad from the Dire had low HP and mana, I'm pretty sure they could have stalled that push. Medusa, meanwhile, picks up the Yasha now, so a Mantis Cell looks to be her next item of choice. But that's all. She's really just tanking up at this point. There's no damage output coming out from her. The only source of damage is with the Juggernaut with his Omni Slash. And you've got magic damage coming out from this Ogre Magi, but it's just not enough to bring down these tanky cores on the side of Beyond Creation. The smart thing to do here for them is to wait for the next Roshan, claim an Aegis, and then try and take another lane of barracks. And see if INF can repel the next push, because if they can't, I think that'll be the end of the game for them. Kiko walking forward now. Phoenix actually has a mech along with the Shiver's Guard. He's up to level 16, so that maxed out Supernova is going to be a really useful tool at their disposal. Awesome dude. He needs to start carrying for his team. But how does he do that when there's such questionable item choices being made on INF? Rampager. Oh man, this is one poor silencer. He's got power treads, full stop. He is a walking global silence and a walking observer ward planter at this point. Luxury items now coming online for the Mirana. BOT will bring her to this bottom lane quicker, which means that they're going for the last and final push perhaps. Without the Aegis even. Charge is there. Kiko. They're going to start with the Moonlight Shadow. Rampager gets the global silence up, but he's going to pay for that with his life. The damage from the Spirit Breaker is enough to send him to the grave. Kiko shrugs it off. Now the global silence is no longer available. They could Icarus dive in and pop a Supernova, but he's not using it yet. Naro, what are you doing? Drop the Supernova, man. Stop thinking so much. There we go. He's in deep now. Behind the enemy lines, he drops the Supernova. This is perfect coming out from the Dire side, and they're going to get a whole bunch of kills on the back of that. Juggernaut doing his thing on the front lines with the disruption is there to save Max. Hello. We'll say goodbye yet again. While Medusa will follow him to the grave soon enough. Nope, she's gonna back away, but the arrow, oh, it's there on DOT. The Chakram and the Whirling Death will secure the kill as Medusa will be the 5th and final casualty on INF. Just one with the buyback on the Ogre, but it doesn't matter. The GG gets called, and Infamous are knocked out on the back of a random Timbersaw pick from Beyond Creation. Well, I'd love to sit and analyze that game, but that would be another long stream by itself. There were so many mistakes from both teams really, but I don't know, man. I'm not convinced about these two teams. While it was a well-fought victory for Beyond Creation, I'm wondering if they have enough to take on some of the top teams in this Starter Cup number 4 bracket. If not, it's at least a pleasure to see them playing some Dota and trying to get better. It's always, it brings a tear to my eye when I see Indian Dota 2 teams trying hard and trying to get better and trying to go pro. Anyway, folks, that's enough from me. This is CloudX signing out on behalf of the ESL India Premiership, organized by Nordwind Gaming, sponsored by HyperX and ROG. Tune in every evening for some Dota 2 action. That's 8 p.m. on weekdays, except Tuesday, and 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on weekends. It's either going to be me or Tea Time Dota casting these Dota 2 matches for you every evening. So I'll see you guys around. This is CloudX, I said CloudX, signing out.